We're almost at the end of theme 1 now, and the subtopic we're going to have a look at today is hunter-gatherer societies, past to present. So what does the topic mean? It basically means that whatever we are seeing today in the present day, a lot of times we try and make connections or interpret or think that probably people in the past also were doing similar things. For example, in the earlier lecture, I gave you an example of tools in one of the earlier lectures. Here we'd seen how a lot of these tools look like axe and hammers and blades. So even if we just saw them and we were not sure what they were used for, we have similar looking tools even today. I mean, today they're much more refined and much more stronger, but they slightly look similar. So we think, oh, today what do we use a hammer for? What do we use an axe for? So probably something so old which looks slightly similar must have been used for the same thing that we use it for today. So in the same manner, today also, in the present times, we have hunter-gatherer societies, and we study the way they live and we try and draw parallels between them and the people of the past to see how the people of the past must have been going about their activities. Scholars have directly applied present-day data to interpret the remains of the past. For example, some archaeologists have suggested that the hominid sites of 2 million years ago along the margins of Lake Turkana could have been dry season camps of early humans because such a practice has been observed among the Hadza community living in the vicinity of Lake Eyasi, which is a salt lake in Tanzania, Africa. So once again, Tanzania, Africa is a very important site for us. It has been since the beginning because that's where we found the skeleton of the Australopithecus. Here they are saying that there's a lake called Lake Eyasi in present-day Tanzania, Africa. And there is a hunter-gatherer society called the Hadza community, right? Now, the way the Hadza community lives near a lake, the way they go about their activities, we feel that the early hunter-gatherer societies also millions of years back may have been following a somewhat similar routine, because we have found evidences which suggested that places near water bodies were more suitable as living areas because getting animals there was easier, the soil would be better, and of course water available. However, so one thing you'll notice when you study history is there are a lot of different ideas. There is one fact, right? For example, the revolt of 1857, what we study as the first war of independence in Indian history. I'm just giving you an example. So we say for Indians, it was the first war of independence, and we Indians say that Indian heroes like Rani Jhansi and other leaders were very heroic and very brave, and they stood up against the British. And Mangal Pandey, there's a movie on Mangal Pandey. So all kinds of things, right? So we see them as heroes. So the fact is 1857 saw a revolt by the Indians against the British. That is a fact, right? The perspective is, one is perspective of Indians where we see they're all heroes and yay, were standing up against the British. Very brave thing to do. But how do the British view it? The British perspective, and a lot of paintings of the British showed that British were these civilized people who had come to help Indians. But what do the Indians do in return? The barbaric Indians fought against them, killed them, and so on and so forth. So this is how perspective matters. So this is what you learn as you study history. Here also, when we're having a look at past and present communities and trying to draw parallels, in the first point we saw how parallels are being drawn because today we see a hunter-gatherer society doing something, or like we see a similar tool and we feel what we use it for today, same thing must have been happening earlier also. But there is another group of scholars who believes that such parallels must not be drawn because they can be misleading. So, point number 2, other scholars say that conditions now are very different from before, so we must not draw parallels. Why? They say there is tremendous variation within each hunter-gatherer society. So according to some scholars, they say you cannot draw such parallels. You don't know really what those hunter-gatherer societies were like. They must have faced so many societal changes. They may have adapted in different ways. So it's wrong to say what they were doing then, comparing it and probably thinking it's the same as what people are doing now. The second reason is there's little consensus regarding division of labor in food procurement as we see gender divisions today. Now, this is an important point because today in this modern society, we see stark gender differentiation. By modern society, I don't mean the ancient medieval modern. I mean to say something like of our present times that we're still familiar with, right? So here we see stark gender differentiation where women are bound to the household. Women are supposed to take care of children. Women may cook food. They may gather a bit of plant, but not much, nothing more than that. Whereas the men would go out for hunting and build houses and so on and so forth. So food procurement would mean whatever food you are getting. So today's society sees a stark differentiation in that, the society we're familiar with. However, the society thousands of years ago were not sure whether these gender divisions existed then. Because remember, this patriarchal society that we sadly live in today, it's a societal concept. It did not fall from the sky. No one told us that, listen, this is the rule you're supposed to follow. It was developed over time by society where women were bound to the house. So everyone else is sure, whoever studies history is absolutely sure about this, that earlier this must have not been the norm. But you may say women bear children, they may need some help at that time. Well, yes, they may need some help at that time. But the fact remains that if a woman was bearing a child, it meant that a woman would then not only have to fend for herself, but also her child, would then make a woman more fierce, forcing her to go out and providing for both. Unlike what we would try to see today and say, oh no, if a woman bears a child, she has to stay indoors and who's going to help her with the food. But earlier examples show no, women were making tools, women were also hunting, and they were providing for themselves as well as their children. So it's wrong if we draw parallels to what the society is doing today compared to what they were doing earlier. Alright, that's it for today. In the next class, we are going to conclude, and the conclusion is actually a little lengthy, and I'd want you to start afresh when we start this topic. Thank you.